everyone.
Hi.
I'm Laura.
I'm Cecilia.
And this is the Yarn Mews podcast.
It is.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Sit a spell.
What did my mom used to always say?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Hang up your coat and stay a while or something like that. I don't know. She always used to say it, but I don't know. Well, welcome back. I'm, as usual, ripping out. Or knitting, or whatever you want to call it.
Tinking.
Yeah, I'm tinking. So aggravating. But that's what happens when you work on several projects at once. You don't really know where the heck you're supposed to be. So, anyway, hey, I wanted to apologize for the sound on the last episode. I know it was bad. Unfortunately, when the sound is bad, I can't really do anything about it. Well, I do as much as I can in post-production while I'm trying to, edit everything. And I did the best I could. Other than sitting down and filming the whole thing again, we were kind of just out of luck. So I know I need to get a new microphone. Just haven't done it yet. So, and I haven't done it since the last episode, even though I knew that one was bad. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this one's okay.
I hope so,
We'll
too.
See.
I'll talk extra loud this time.
Yeah, I mean, you're always quieter than I am.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Although, well, anyway, neither of us were very good.
Well,
But you were quieter.
we are not professionals, really. We're just kind of doing this, so yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do what we can.
We're professional yarn folk, but we're not...
Yarn folk.
Yeah, I know. But we're not professional podcasters. We just do it for fun.
Yeah.
And to hopefully,
Yeah.
enjoy make things enjoyable for you.
Yeah.
So,
We're not professional filmmakers, is more what I was going at.
or podcasters.
Or podcasters.
Either one.
No, not that, I guess
If
so.
we were...
How many do we have to do before we're professional podcasters?
I think it's more a matter of if we actually make any revenue off of our podcast, right?
think
Like
so.
from ads and stuff like that.
Oh.
Don't you think that would qualify us as a professional podcast? I don't know. I have no idea.
I
Doesn't
don't know.
matter. We are who we are,
We are.
and we're happy with that.
Most of the time.
I was reading it. I went to physical therapy this morning, so I've been seeing a physical therapist because I'm having an issue with my shoulder, which I found out is related to how I sit when I knit. So that's why I'm sitting up straighter.
That's good.
You'll
should sit
notice
straighter.
as we get into
Slowly.
this that I'll probably end up doing this.
Yeah.
But if I sit up straighter, my
Maybe
shoulder
get you
doesn't
a
hurt as much.
brace.
I don't think a brace would help.
What if
I
we
think it's
got
just a
you
matter of sitting up straight.
What if we got you a steel rod that we just shove back there through your backbone? Well, that
I'm
probably
sure
won't help.
that would be fabulous. Yeah,
That's
let's
fine.
do that.
I'm not a medical professional.
But
alright?
she plays one on TV.
Oh man.
But anyway, I lost my train of thought. I was
talking about your PT and you read something, I assume.
Oh,
magazine
yeah.
about
So I was.
doctors?
My phone was out of batteries, so I had to read a magazine, and I was
Oh.
reading a magazine about being authentically yourself, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. I can be me.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be you.
Thank God, I don't want to be you either.
No, because I'm too awesome for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm too awesome for her.
True that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but it was a whole series of articles written by different people, really essays about how they became more authentically themselves, rather than I don't know about you, but when I was in high school, I always wanted to be, in the popular group, and I wanted to, so I dressed a certain way, I did certain activities. But that wasn't really me, But there were some activities that I did that were really me, and those always made me feel better about myself. So, I want to be me.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, I was me for a good deal of my high school career, which is why I didn't have any friends.
Well, You know?
Because I did wear my Doctor Who scarf and my coonskin cap, not a real coonskin cap, as it was something apparently my sister had given to my father when she was like 7 or something. So
Cute.
you know, and I had a big giant rhinestone pin on that cap. Yeah, I was cool.
She was cool.
And my clothes from ragstock that then I would embroider because it was the only womanly skill I had. So
Womanly, whatever. Womanly schmumanly.
well, it really was the only thing I did that would count as
Handicrafts.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would paint, but I wasn't painting. You know,
You could have painted on your clothes.
I did. Sorry, I did. You know, there's this line of shoes out there, and it's all like these hand-painted shoes that have like just some of them are just swirls of color, and they're like $250 a pair. You know, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, God, those look like the shoes that I did in high school because.
Dang, it's too bad you didn't make that into a business, girl.
Well, exactly. That's exactly what I thought. Because I'm like, you know, I just dumped paint on my white Keds, and I'm like, oh, I know. So I'm like, well, they're canvas. I'm painting on canvas. I can paint on my shoes, and so I did. So I had these orange and yellow and purpley shoes that were swirls of color, and yeah, I could have been rich now. Instead,
it's
I
too
worked
bad
for
Etsy wasn't around back then,
This
right?
is true. There was no way in my little tiny town to make that into a business. But I did wear those shoes again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was not my thing in high school. My thing was always trying to fit in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway.
Anywho. So what are you working on there?
So I'm still working on this little sweater. It's a tank top, and I think last time you said, oh, it's like flower shop, and no, it wasn't. It's a zinnia top. It's a zinnia, the zinnia top.
Sorry, I thought that was a pattern when I looked at it.
It's hard to show it to you because I'm in the middle of taking apart around, but there you go. It's unique fingering, which I did I switched from one skein to the next right in here, so it kind of repeats itself more than it should, but that's okay. Nobody's ever going to notice unless I compulsively confess like I just did.
Yeah.
And it's just like a little tank top, a t-shirt to go over a tank top of some kind. So, yeah, it's fun to knit. I think I should have it done. Well, since I'm done with the other project I had to pick up and work on, I should have this done maybe by the end of the week. I hope.
Cool.
Yeah. So maybe next podcast I will show it to you.
That'll be good.
All done.
That'll
Maybe
awesome.
I'll be wearing it because it'll be so warm.
It'll be so hot that you'll just wear that and nothing else.
Because we didn't have a snowstorm last week. I don't know what you're talking about. I was stuck in the Chicago airport during that snowstorm. So I went to Chicago because Rowan Yarns has an event for their local yarn stores. They started doing this last year. They did it again this year. It's a way to introduce their fall line, talk about, their history. It was just a really fun event to go and sit in on. And Martin Story was there, who's their principal designer. I know,
awesome.
he's great. And
he is so tall. You cannot.
he's very tall.
He
And this is coming from somebody who has a son who's 6'5". So, I think he must. If he's not 6'5", he's close to it, or he might be taller than that. I don't know.
I don't know. He's very tall.
He's very tall and very thin. But he gave a presentation on his history with Rowan, and it was just fascinating. It was really fun to see the progression. He worked in theater for a while, thinking he wanted to be a costume designer right out of art school. And he quickly realized he didn't want to do that. And then he worked for, I can't remember, I didn't take any notes, but he worked for a design house for a while. And then he was the principal designer for Jaeger Yarns, which was under the umbrella of Rowan at the time. And then, and so he's just been working with them since the late 80s, I think.
Wow.
So, yeah, really long time.
Cool.
Yeah. That was fun. The brand manager for Rowan, her name is Sharon something, I don't remember what her last name is, but she told about her history, and her history was in doing custom knitwear for people, and then it moved into the movie industry. So all those Harry Potter sweaters, she's the one who did them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So the Mrs. Weasley sweater that was popular on Ravelry a while ago because somebody kind of reverse engineered it. She designed that. Her team made all the sweaters, and of course,
There's a movie where Neville wears the best, like, Fair Isle jumper.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm like,
I'm sure it was her team who did it. But
Oh.
she said that they had to make 7 of each of the items because of the different
Wow.
filming, and yeah, so that was interesting.
That's amazing.
And then they talked about their upcoming fall line, which I can't talk about at this point,
But there's some
except
very nice things.
that they have a new concept for part of their brand called Mode at Rowan, and that I know I can talk about because they had a bunch of podcasters come to H&H in Cologne, which is the big wholesale show for yarn and other crafts in Europe. It's really it's the biggest in the world. I so want to go, maybe next year. It's right before Shop Hop, so I don't know if I can, but
Unless we're not in Shop Hop.
well, that's not happening, but could I figure out a way to do it? Maybe. We'll see.
No.
Anyway, at the show in Cologne, they had a podcaster gathering where they invited all the podcasters that were there at the show to come and learn about Mode at Rowan. So it's out there on Instagram already, and podcasts and stuff like that. But the idea is, so Rowan is really known for kind of the photography of their garments and kind of traditional, I would say traditional but modern garments. Mm-hmm. But most of the photography is done outdoors on, like this. I don't think it's wrong for me to say that this fall's magazine is all filmed in Cambridge, where I went to school for a year, so that was really fun for me. They're always on location someplace. Occasionally they'll do a shoot in a home, like, the magazine they had with the big owl pillow?
Yeah.
That was all done in Martin Story's home in
What?
Devon. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
that's awesome.
That's kind of their things. But this Mode at Rowan, they kept throwing the word runway out. It's kind of their fashion end, So they've got videos of models, kind of walking the runway. It's not really walking the runway because there aren't people in the audience or whatever. But what I found interesting is even though they kept saying runway, the garments were still pretty traditional. They weren't, crazy out there. Like a lot of the runway stuff you see, most people can't wear or won't wear because it's just kind of way out there.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of an interesting concept and could be fun this fall to put some displays together that are kind of Mode at Rowan. So
Yeah.
but
cool.
nonetheless, I started this whole thing because this happened on Tuesday and Wednesday of this past week, and I ended up hanging out in the airport for hours on end waiting for a flight back. And I finally got home around 1 a.m., so a little bit before 1, to my house. And yeah, that was a long day. But
Yeah.
but I had the Rowan rep that we have, Nancy, who is from the Twin Cities, and she and I spent the time together. So that
She's
was nice.
lovely.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully in a couple of weeks it will be warm enough for me to wear this little top. I have a feeling it won't be warm enough in a couple weeks. Maybe in a
Who
month
knows?
and a half.
It's Minnesota. Never can tell.
That's true. True. So, Cecilia, what are you working on?
Oh, I'm still plugging away at this sweater I've been working on forever.
But look,
I have a sleeve.
one sleeve is done.
Yay! So, honestly, I should have probably had this other sleeve done over the weekend, but I didn't knit anything because I was feeling peevish. So,
Peevish? Why were you peevish?
because I had to do taxes.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
No.
But you got a new kitten yesterday.
I did get a new kitten yesterday.
And if you give me a picture of it, I will put it on the on the podcast.
I will.
What's the kitten's name?
We decided on Clovis.
Clovis.
Clovis was the first Frankish king. He was originally a barbarian king. He conquered basically all of what is France and Germany now, and all that area. He ended up converting to Christianity because the lady he wanted to marry was a Christian, and she wouldn't marry a barbarian. And so he's like, "Fine, I love God," and became a Christian.
Interesting.
So yes,
I didn't realize that there was a King Clovis.
yes.
Okay, now you typically, when you have a pet, name it after a historical figure, right?
If I can, yes.
Okay, so tell us your other pets' names.
Well, I have Snorri, who is my dog. He is named after Snorri Sturluson, who is a medieval Icelandic poet and saga writer. He's famous for the Helmskringla. I'm probably massacring that. Sorry, all our Icelandic friends. But he has a very interesting history. He was quite famous at the time, and he was friends with the King of Denmark, because that is who ran, and maybe did run Iceland until just a while ago. I mean, they might still be in charge of Iceland.
I'm not really sure.
But somehow he irritated the king. I don't even remember how. And got on his bad side, and then in the middle of the night, the king sent men in, soldiers in, hauled him out of his bed, and executed him.
Aww.
But if you type in Snorri, Snorri, you will see that he is a person, like a thing in Iceland. There's tour groups called Snorri Adventurers. You can visit his house, which is I would like to do someday. I'd like to go to Iceland and see his home. And
I want to go to Iceland too.
well, there we go. Let's go.
You know what? If we went to H&H in Cologne next year, we could fly through Iceland
We could
and stop there.
stop for a couple days.
Yeah.
Yes. That
Right
would be-
before Shop Hop. I'm sure that would be fine.
You know,
Yeah.
I believe that they could handle it on their own.
Well, it's not like most of the stuff can't get done ahead of time.
True.
So,
As long as we came back for Shop Hop.
well, yeah.
So, it's
Okay,
all
and
good.
then you have another cat. Is that cat
Yes.
named for somebody historical?
No, because Serena named the cat because she was young when we got the cat. The cat's name is Buttercup. After Reese's peanut butter cups. Because she is black and tan. She's a calico. Or calico or tortie, I guess technically, because she's more black than
Yeah.
brown. So yes. Although it was funny because the one day Charles was like, well, wasn't she named after one of the Powerpuff Girls? I'm like, no, she was named after the food product. And of course,
I bet you don't ever say to her, "Suck it up, Buttercup."
Buttercup is very bossy. She's pretty much in charge of the household. Snorri's terrified of her. So, yeah.
Snorri's terrified of a lot of things, don't you think?
Yes, he is not the bravest.
He's a rescue dog, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He came from California. And he is a Chihuahua Whippet mix. And he has some serious issues, some anxiety things. But he's very snuggly and he wants nothing more than to be with, his people. And he does attempt to protect me, like if people come in the house and he's not sure about him, he'll rush up onto my lap and go, I think he's protecting me, but really, if push came to shove, he would probably hide behind me.
Aww.
But he
That's
is
sweet.
very sweet.
So I have one cat whose
Yes.
name is Artemis, but it's spelled different. So there are two Artemises. There's the historical one, which is,
The god.
yeah, the god.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how my cat's name is spelled. We didn't name her; she came with that name. So his name is spelled Artemis, and hers is Mus. So I can't remember what the other one is, but that's what she was named after. So I
Not
think
Artemis Fowl.
no, because that's MIS as well.
Yeah.
Was one of the Three Musketeers Artemis as well? Aramis, Artemis.
Aramis. I don't know.
I can't remember.
I only ever saw the movies because
Yeah, I haven't read the book either.
those books are really big.
Yeah. So anyway,
So yeah.
I'm jealous of Cecilia's cat. My cat, her new kitten, I should say. My cat is elderly. She's like 17 and a half.
No
And I
fun.
asked the vet, I said, what do you think about me getting a kitten? She said, no, wouldn't be a good idea at her age. And I was like, dang it.
Oh, man.
Too much stress, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, no other pets for me until Artemis is no more.
Oofed up.
I know. No dogs for me right now either. My husband and I have decided we can't have another dog until one of us isn't working. So, we just have Artemis.
Oh, man.
I know. So, you want to talk about the yarns you have in front of you? or-
Sure. I can talk about this yarn. All right, so we just got this in. It is,
Oh, but you can't touch it.
well,
Ugh.
not too-
Okay, go ahead.
Query.
Query.
Fiber. And
It's an odd spelling, so Cecilia, if you can hold that. So it's Quaere, and that's a legal term
oh,
meaning query.
so here are some of this one. This is the 20 stripe yarn, sock yarn. So when you make socks, they have 20
different colors in
20
them,
different colors in there. So it's
but it's stripes.
striped beautifully.
I
They're
will.
really cool.
I'll throw up a picture on here of what it stripes like because she's got some great pictures on her Instagram account.
I like this one best of all. It's
Yeah, that's one of
chromatic.
her most popular ones.
It's
I ordered
rainbowy.
some that were her popular ones and then other ones that I just like. Like this is one of her popular ones. This is called Nice Shoelaces.
This
and-
is Shalom.
Yeah, and that one I liked.
'Cause,
Yeah.
You know,
It's pretty.
It's a good message, and who doesn't want peaceful feet? And then this is her
Sparkle sock.
And I had to pull this one because look at that color. Can you see that? It's called
It's
Shut-
bright.
Shut up and listen. And then there's a couple more of them. So they're, I don't know, they kind of remind me of Easter eggs.
Mhm.
So they're
And
fun.
We have some other colors too.
But
It's
it
just
has-
a little bit of sparkle
Yes, it
in them.
has
It's hard to
just
see.
the tiniest bit of sparkle. So if you're not a big sparkle person, just a little sparkle person, like this is perfect for you. So, but if you're a little sparkle person, you probably aren't going to use that. But if you use that with a solid color, that would be lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Something like a navy blue, maybe. Something. And then I
To
also,
make it pop.
yes, I also
Because
wanted-
it doesn't pop enough.
Yes, since we're talking about socks, I wanted to talk. We just got the latest Piecework, which is one of my favorite magazines, and they happen to have an interesting article in here about sock knitting during the Danish golden age of Danish painting. So it's all talking about paintings where there are people knitting socks, and look at this dude out in his farm
Cool.
field knitting away with his dog.
And then there's a pattern there, right?
Yes, and then there's this, which I think is quite nice, this Danish sock to knit. So, probably couldn't do it in any of the stripy things because of all that texture, but maybe
Yeah.
maybe this. It's just not too, it'd be very bright.
They would be very bright, not very Danish historical
No,
kind of
but
look. But so what?
I do think they're very pretty socks. So, anyway, you can come on in and get this. The thing I like about Piecework is it has all these other things, like things I don't actually do, but I like to look at them, and then they'll talk about them, and I'll think, yeah, I'm not going to ever do that.
Yeah, they have samplers in this one, which I like samplers.
I know, me too, but I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to ever do one either.
Well, I mean, I have cross-stitched, I did a Irish saying for my mom, the one that may the road rise up to meet you kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
isn't that like the traditional thing to say when people leave or something?
Yeah, and it's may God hold you in His hands or something. It's a if you're going away, I hope you're okay kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that for my mom.
Cool.
But yeah, it's a lot of work, that cross stitch.
I just remember, I had these grand plans when my first child was born to do a cross-stitch alphabet. That was really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I finally threw it away after my youngest was like 10 years old. It's like, yeah, that's not happening.
That's not ever going to happen.
I'm not going to finish that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So anyway, the other thing that we have to show is the Morton cowl.
Yes.
This is I'm going to take this one off so I can show it up closer. This is a cowl made with Malabrigo Mecha, which is a bulky weight, and Malabrigo Machita, which is a fingering weight. So if you can, the blue in this one is the fingering weight, and the gold color is the bulky. And the same yarn rep I was stuck in the airport with is the one who originally made one of these, and I when she wore it in one day, I said, "Oh my God, I love that! I want to make one." And then I just felt like I didn't have time, and so in order to have this sample in the store during Shop Hop, I had one of my employees make it. And then it was really popular during Shop Hop, and I, of course, worked the whole weekend, and I thought, I really want to make one of those. So I have. Here's my version. So this one, the yellow is is Machita, the fingering weight, and the other color, that yellow is called Frank Ochre, and the other color is Arco Iris, which is one of their multicolors. So lots of different colors in here, but gosh, really fun to knit. It's you're doing stockinette with the yellow color, and then the other color you're doing a slip stitch pattern. So you're working 2 rows of the one color and then 2 rows of the other color. You're never working more than one color in a row, and it just was fun to knit. Kind of want to make another one just to see how it looks. So I would highly recommend that. We're going to have 4 of these, I think, in the store because Shelley has made another one for herself, and Nancy's going to bring the one in that she knows, so we can have it.
Kits. We have
Oh yeah,
some kits,
and we made up some kits. So these are the Morton Cowl kits. This one has the same color that I used, the Frank Ochre, but it's matched up with Vulcan, which is a rusty color.
That looks really nice.
Yeah. And then this one is Sandbank and, I don't know, because the tag's hidden. Oh no, there it is. I'm sorry, it's Pearl and Poción, or Poison in Spanish. So yeah, really fun. And I placed another order of Malabrigo, both of those 2 yarns, and that should be coming in sometime this week because I just felt like we needed more color options.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, so
very exciting.
So keep this in mind, Morton
It's a real
Cowl.
fun thing to knit
Yeah.
up. So even though it's like that bulky weight, it's not going to be bad because it's summer. That you get too hot. It's very small.
Yeah. No, I mean
Is
if
it
you're
flat or
knitting
not?
on it, it's flat.
Okay.
And what I did is I did a provisional cast on, and then I did a 3 needle bind off at the end. So you can see this is the row where it's bound off. So it blends in pretty well with the rest of it. I don't know what Shelly did on hers. I'm not going to take it down again, but it was a lot of fun to make.
Awesome.
And I use size 7 needles. No, size 8 needles. I maybe could have gone up to a size 9. I don't know. Mine's a little shorter than Shelly's, so hers is at a little bit looser gauge, so I probably could have gone up to a 9, which makes it fast.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
Very quick.
Yep. I have gotten through one row as we're sitting here. Woohoo!
Yay! Way to go, Laura.
I know, right? So what else do we have to talk about? Oh, winner chicken dinner from last podcast. Okay, so you know how it is on Ravelry, YouTube, Facebook. Sometimes you don't use your real name when you're, making your profile. This person didn't. Her username is Multi-Proud Mother. So I don't know who you are, but congratulations, you won last time. And your comment was about the sound quality, and I know it was terrible. Yeah. Ah, well.
But you won.
Yeah.
We're making a comment about our sound.
That's
so
right.
Anything counts.
Anything counts. And then for next time, Blue Sky Fibers brought this cute little kit to give away, which is really nice of them.
Nice.
It's got 2 skeins of Spud and Chloe Fine, 1 multi and 1 solid. And
together with that.
it's got a little hat pattern, Best Buddies hat, which I believe, let me just see. Yep, you need 1 of each color, so perfect.
Nice.
So that will be the prize for next time. So don't forget to comment under our information on the YouTube channel, or underneath the video.
Make 2 hats with that.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah, I would think so.
Hence the Best Buddies, don't you?
Yeah.
One for you, one for your buddy.
Maybe. There you go.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I think you're pretty smart.
I am. It is pretty much a burden.
But hey, just everybody, if you're on YouTube and you're looking at this on our YouTube channel on your computer or your phone or your iPad or something like that, that's where you make the comments. I think a lot of people watch this on their TV. You can't really make comments on there, so you'd have to find us through YouTube on your computer or mobile device, so to make a comment. I had somebody email me, they went to our website and then hit the contact us thing and emailed me about one of the podcasts, and I thought, well, why didn't they just respond on the YouTube channel? But I realized that they were probably watching it on their TV. So if you want to make a comment, you have to go to our YouTube channel on your computer or your mobile device in order to do that. So just thought I'd mention that. So, what else?
Let's see. A couple weeks. We got Yarn Over and LYS Day.
And Local
On
Yarn
the
Store
same
Day. Same day, we'll have special things here in the store for Local Yarn Store Day. So a bunch of different companies and designers are doing special things, some of which we have bought and are bringing in, some of which are free, like pattern downloads and stuff like that. We'll have all of that in our newsletter, like right before Local Yarn Store Day, probably Friday the 26th. So the Local Yarn Store Day is on the 27th, which is the same day as Yarn Over, which is the Minnesota Knitters Guild one-day workshop where they have a bunch of national instructors. They have a marketplace. We'll have a booth at the marketplace, so come by and see us if you're there. We will not have any of our Local Yarn Store Day products there because it's supposed to be in the store.
So.
And then the day before that, one of those national instructors, Faina Goderstein, will be here teaching her 2 classes on slip stitches. Still room in those classes. I think we've got a couple of seats in each of them. Although one of them is more full than the other. I can't remember which one, though,
Yeah,
off the top of my head.
remember.
So, anyway, there you go.
I'd like to take that afternoon one.
Yeah,
So,
well, I'm sure we can make that happen for you. Except, well, no, it's okay because we can't get into the venue to
yeah, on
put
Friday.
her stuff in on
Yeah.
Friday, so that's
So I'll
that
be
should be
over there
fine.
at
We'll be
6
over there at the
a.m.
crack of dawn
Yeah,
on
Saturday.
Saturday the 27th to set up our booth, along with my 21-year-old son,
Awesome.
who said yesterday or the day before, he said, you know, I might be going out of town that weekend. I said, nope. Mm-mm.
Sorry,
No.
you're not now.
I need you. You can go out of town after you help us set up.
Yep.
Because Serena's
Yeah.
coming that afternoon to
Yeah,
help
Serena and Connor
take it
can
apart. So,
take it apart.
yeah.
So, I
So-
just don't know that they could get over there at 6 a.m.
Yeah. I don't know that my son can either, but he's gonna.
All right.
He said, well, can we get coffee in the way? I said, we're not going together. You got to drive yourself because I have
Yeah.
to U-Haul. So
Yeah.
you can go get coffee for both of us and I'll pay you.
Wow.
So,
That would be nice.
Yeah. well, I mean, I wouldn't pay him to actually go get the coffee. I'd just pay him for the coffee that he got.
Yeah.
But I will pay him for
For working.
working. Yeah. He has informed me that he's moving back to Denver June 1st.
Really?
So we'll see.
Interesting.
So that's all I know. I don't know anything else. We have a rep coming in just a little bit, so I think
Yeah,
we're gonna
have to wrap her up.
wrap it up. It's a little short today, but that's okay.
I'm sure we'll make it up next time.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, and always, if you have something that you would like us to talk about on the podcast, I don't know what, but
Anything.
think of anything. Let us know. We're
You want
happy
us
to.
discuss books or movies we might have seen or whatever.
Oh, you know, we could tell everybody about book bingo.
We could. Do you want me to do that quick?
Yeah, do it quick.
All right. So, my husband and I, for many years, have been doing this book bingo. It started from a podcast I listened to, which is now defunct. And basically, you get a bingo card, and it has a bunch of different categories on there. And I like doing it because it challenges me to maybe read something out of my comfort zone. So, for instance, on my card this year, I've got written before 1500. So that would be I'm going to do the Iliad because I had that on my to-read list this year anyway. So I was very happy to get that. But
I did Candide for that square last year. Don't do it.
yeah. See, I wouldn't have ever done that one.
It was really short. That was one of the reasons I picked it.
Yeah, but
Really
short doesn't
bad.
necessarily mean fast. That's the other thing I've learned from doing this book bingo is that sometimes short is so bad you can't even barely get through it.
Yeah.
But it might be short stories. I have, for instance, on my card this year, a book of essays. So that's something normally I wouldn't read, a book full of essays. So kind of looking around for what I'm going to do for that. But anyway.
I had short stories last year, and yeah, that's not something I typically read either.
Yeah, see, I like short stories, so that isn't so bad. I mean, I don't mind essays. It's just not a thing I normally read. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I could do some Studs Terkel because I love him, but they're not technically essays.
You know,
So-
you could read. There's a. I might even have it at home still. There's a book of knitting related essays.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'll figure it out. But, so anyway, basically you have to read 24 books over the summer. It starts...
If you want to,
if
you don't
want
have to.
You don't have to read them all. But that's the goal, is the blackout. That's how we've always done it, because truthfully, doing 5 in a row when there's a free space in the middle, I mean, you can do 4 books. 4 books is not going to take Charles or I or you any time. That's not a challenge to me. So, that is how we did it. So it's 24 books of various categories. We started Memorial Day weekend, so Friday night after work kind of is what I figure is okay, because that's really the start of summer. And then it goes through Labor Day, and you try and get as many books done as you can. And you can only use 1 book for a square, so you can't have multiple books for your squares, even though...
you're saying that right.
multiple squares
You
for-
can't have one book that will fit into several squares
Squares,
and put it in
yes.
several squares. Each
Yes.
square has to have its own book.
Every book
Yeah.
has its own square, and you can't. No sharies, no double dipping. Yeah. Although sometimes Charles and I will just look at our cards and be like, "What book could we have that would fill the most amount of squares?" So sometimes you can. You have like a book that like I have a book that has a red cover, or which there's some of these whereas I try and plan ahead, but some of them you just can't because I don't know what cover book I'm going to find, or it has a kid on it.
Last summer. So last summer was the first time I did it. I had seen Cecilia and Charles do this or heard about it for a couple of years, and I was like, I want to do it. Can I do it too?
Yeah.
And Cecilia said, sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And one of my squares said, has 3 or more people on the cover. So, it's great to pre-plan these books, right? So I went on Goodreads and I'm like, oh, this book has 3 people on the cover. I'll read this one. Well, my version of the book didn't have 3 people on the cover, so I couldn't use that one. So that was very frustrating.
The covers really are. I have done this enough now that there are certain categories I find very difficult to fill. There's one category that is author the same first name as you, which that's not bad if your name is Laura. It's a little harder if your name is Cecilia. And so earlier this winter, I found a book at the thrift store, Swedish crime drama by some Cecilia Lackenberger or something like that. I'm like, oh, I'm buying this.
Just to save it, just in case.
Just in case.
So is that one of your squares this year?
No, it is not, but
man.
it might be, and I've got it now, and
Yeah.
and it's a crime drama, so it's a thing I like to read anyway. So, but that one, I always find hard. And then the title with 6 or more words. That is an incredibly hard one, because when you think about really long titles, often they've got 5 words.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, that's what we're going to do. So we'll give you some updates later in the summer about how our book
We're just
is
planning
going.
things out right now.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway, we should really wrap it up because the Yarn Rep's going to be here soon. I appreciate you guys watching.
Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
Yep,
Bye.
we'll see you. Bye.